Summer 2024 has been football heavy, not only on the pitch with the Euros and the Copa America, but also off the pitch, where we've had some insane transfers happening in this summer transfer window. So with that being said, it's only right that we take a look at the best of the bunch and rate each of these transfers. Let's go. Starting off with the huge one, we got Kylian Mbappé joining Real Madrid on a free transfer for a 5-year deal. What a sensational move this was from Real Madrid. A few summers ago, they were willing to splash over 100 million on Mbappé, but now in the big 2024, they got one of, if not the best player in the world, coming to them for free. Keep in mind, Real Madrid already have an insanely stacked squad, with the likes of Vinicius, Rodrigo, Bellingham, Endrick joining too, Federico Valverde, Tchouaméni, Camavinga, Militao, Rudiger, Courtois, etc. all already being part of Real Madrid. Plus, they just won their 15th Champions League last season, and now they're adding another huge superstar to their ranks. Plus, Mbappe has helped Real Madrid to a trophy already, with him scoring the second goal in their 2-0 win over Atalanta in the UEFA Super Cup to win that. So overall, this is an A+ move from Real Madrid. Yes, I know, the wages for Mbappe are insane, but the fact they didn't have to pay PSG anything for a player like Mbappe is insane business. Real Madrid has got aura, bro, and not even Barca fans can deny that.
Oh my god, bro, is dick riding all you do?
No, I'm saying
you literally got that nigga dick in your mouth right now. I see it.
Let's now move on to the other side of Madrid, where we have Atletico doing some insane business this summer. Diego Simeone is on a mission, and he's building something special. But let's start off with the most expensive transfer that has happened this summer, and it's Julian Alvarez leaving Manchester City to join Atletico Madrid for 75 million euros on a 6-year deal. This is great business from Atleti, because after all, they did just lose their star man up top, Alvaro Morata, to AC Milan for 13 million euros on a 4-year deal, which I would give a B+ grade to AC Milan. And those guys needed a replacement for Olivier Giroud, who went to LAFC in the MLS on a free, on a 1-year deal, plus an optional 1 more year if necessary. And I'd give Giroud to LAFC at probably like a B grade or something. He is a top striker, but he is getting older now. But anyways, I got really sidetracked here. As you can see, all these transfers are connected. But back to Atletico signing Julian Alvarez, this is a top signing. I'm giving this an A grade. While Julian Alvarez was with Manchester City, he completed football basically. He literally won every single trophy he could, like the FA Cup, Premier League, Champions League, etc. And he even won the World Cup with Argentina as well. Meaning this dude completed football all while being 23 years old. With that, I've always wondered how much longer Alvarez was going to stay with Man City and being content to being the backup to Erling Haaland, who respectfully he was never going to start over, even though Julian Alvarez is a very talented player. After all, he did bag 19 goals and get 13 assists in 54 games last season, with a lot of those goals coming off the bench. And honestly, Julian Alvarez expressed his discomfort with staying as a backup sooner than I thought, and this summer he pretty much said that he wanted to leave, and Man City gave him his wish. And with Atletico having a gaping hole at the front and in need of a top striker to come in and fill the void, Julian Alvarez could not have been a more perfect signing. It's a win-win for both Man City, who got a huge fee, and Atletico Madrid, who got a top striker. Continuing on the topic of Atletico Madrid though, they've made some more impressive signings as well, like Robin Lenormand, the ex-Real Sociedad center back who enjoyed a great Euro campaign with Spain, signed to Atletico for 34.5 million euros, and I give this one an A grade as well. This is a good signing. Then they also signed Alexander Sørloth from Villarreal for 32 million euros. I'd give this a B grade since they already signed their main target in Alvarez, but Sørloth isn't a bad second option. And then they signed Conor Gallagher for 42 million euros from Chelsea, and I'm gonna give this one around a B- grade. I'm one of those guys who doesn't rate Conor Gallagher too highly, but he does kind of fit Diego Simeone's style of football, so maybe this will be a good move for the both of them. But I do have to say, it's kind of funny that Atleti fans think they signed their own Jude Bellingham. I can't believe that many people came out for Gallagher's presentation, bro. I would never imagine. Let's now move on to the Serie A, where I think undoubtedly the biggest signing the league had was Douglas Luiz leaving Aston Villa to join Juventus for 51.5 million euros, around 20 million euros less than his market value on a 5-year deal. But just like how Douglas Luiz switched countries, with him moving from England to Italy, you can too, kind of. And I ain't talking about just football. And this actually brings me to today's sponsor, Mysterium VPN. Now Mysterium VPN isn't just some traditional VPN service. No. Instead, with Mysterium VPN, you are connected to actual IP addresses hosted by people around the world, with over 135 countries and 20,000 servers being available, meaning you'll have much more reliable connections with fast speed. Additionally, unlike other VPN services, Mysterium VPN actually makes it impossible for even them to access your browsing data and activity, making it extremely private and secure, just what you would want from a service like this. And with Mysterium VPN being easy to use, like literally it's just 3 steps, like downloading the app/program, creating an account, and connecting to the service with Quick Connect. And the fact that there are multiple different plans with affordable and flexible prices, like the 1-month plan for $9.99 a month, the 2-year plan for $3.19 a month, the 1-year plan for $5.14 a month, and the 6-month plan for $6.85 a month. You're getting a great value for your buck with Mysterium VPN. And want to know what makes this service even better? The fact with my code, Nabuto, you get an additional 50% discount on top of an already regular 68% discount when you buy access to Mysterium VPN's great services. So if you're interested in a new VPN service with great features like I just mentioned, go to missvpn.net/Nabuto and use my promo code Nabuto for an additional 15% discount on all plans. It'll be the the first link in the description and the pinned comment down below. Now with that being said, thank you Mysterium VPN for sponsoring today's video, and let's get back to Douglas Luiz. The reason why Juventus got Douglas Luiz a little cheaper though is because they sent players the other way, with Enzo Barrenechea and Samuel Illing Jr. leaving to join Villa, even though Samuel Illing Jr. is supposedly going to be back in the Serie A on loan with Bologna. But regardless, this is a good deal for Juventus. And with Paul Pogba's ban being indefinite and who knows whether that man will ever come back, I'm going to have to give this a solid A- grade. I like Douglas Luiz, but I don't really rate him as highly as others, and it is pretty clear that Juventus had a hole in their midfield that they needed to fill. Plus, with Luiz having good stats like being in the 81st percentile for shot creating actions, having 3.41 of those per 90, 87th percentile for crosses, 79th percentile for through balls, 81st percentile for passes blocked, 82nd percentile for crosses into the penalty area, 92nd percentile for key passes, 80th percentile for passes into the penalty area, etc. You can see that he'll provide great benefits to Juventus. The reason why I'm giving this an A- grade though instead of an A is because Juventus already have my boy Weston McKennie, and he can do all those things in my opinion. He was literally the assist leader for Juventus last season too, but Thiago Motta, the manager, outcasted him, even though it seems like he's back in the picture now. Nasty work. McKennie's my boy, man. Motta, trust me, he can do the job.
Hey, everybody stay on that side when they switched up. You switched up, stay on that side, man.
It's now time to talk about the best league in the world in my opinion, the Premier League, where we've had some insane transfers happening for almost every club, besides my club Liverpool. We've done fuck all this window. Anyway, starting off with Manchester United, they've actually made some big moves this window. Ten Hag is bringing the Ajax band back together, but this time at Manchester United, and he has now signed two of his ex-players from the Netherlands this summer, with Mazraoui signing for Bayern Munich for 15 million euros on a 4-year deal, and Matthias de Ligt also signing for Bayern Munich on a 5-year deal for 45 million euros. And both of these signings are necessary for United in my opinion. After all, they just let go of Aaron Wan-Bissaka to West Ham for 17.6 million euros, a good sell in my opinion. I never really thought Wan-Bissaka could cut it at United with him having little to no offensive ability, with all due respect of course, and also Rafael Varane joining FC Como on a free transfer from United, meaning those two positions need to be filled, which is exactly what United did. Now I'm going to give Mazraoui a B- grade and de Ligt a C+ grade. And I know, y'all must be thinking that I'm a biased Liverpool fan, and to be honest I kinda am, but there's a reason why those two were even let go from Bayern Munich in the first place. More so about de Ligt though. He was labeled as a future world-class center back, but he couldn't cut it at Juventus and Bayern Munich, two big clubs he was supposed to excel at and be the future at the back for them. So for me, joining United is a bit of a downgrade compared to those two clubs and the current state of things, I agree. But there's something holding de Ligt back from reaching the top level, and I'm not so sure he'll find what he needs in the Premier League with Manchester United. These aren't the only signings that Man United made though. They did sign the ex-Bologna striker Joshua Zirkzee on a 42.5 million euro deal, and he's already played a huge part for United, helping them secure all 3 points in the opening weekend when he scored that last-minute goal against Fulham. But he also played against them in the match against Brighton, with his accidental touch ruling Garnacho's goal offsides, and then proceeded to lose 2-1. But I'm going to give Zirkzee a B+ grade. I think there's a ton of potential with him, as we saw at Bologna. But as other previous clubs like Anderlecht, Parma, and Bayern Munich, he didn't impress too much in all honesty. At Bologna though, he did explode into form, so only time will tell whether this is a top signing or not. And now let's go over to the other big money signing that United splashed on this summer, the 18-year-old center back Lenny Euro from Lille for 62 million euros. Now this guy was wanted by Real Madrid, so automatically for me, he is top quality. The reason why I didn't go to Madrid though, is they only wanted to pay like 20 million euros, and told him he could just join under free next year. But when United gave Lille an astronomical offer of 62 million euros, Euro was basically forced to accept the offer by the Lille board, and now he's at United. Regardless of that though, this is a good signing from United, and I'm going to give this an A- grade. The reason why this isn't an A though, is because he got injured in preseason, and he's out for like 3 months. So United won't be able to use their star signing this summer for a while, but good signing nevertheless. Now if you thought United made a lot of signings this summer, let's go over to Chelsea, because man, they need help for real. Todd Bowley wants to buy everyone and everything. At this point bro, just buy me too, fuck it. I can't be worse than Mudryk, surely. But before we go on with Chelsea's transfers, please remember to subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it and it means a lot, so thank you. And also if you guys can, follow my Twitter and my Instagram, both at Nabuto, if you just want to hear my thoughts on football games, transfers, and overall, just to get to know me more. So if you want to, feel free to hit me up with that follow. Thank you. Now going over to everybody that Chelsea has signed this window, they signed Pedro Neto from Wolverhampton Wanderers for 60 million euros. I'm giving this an A- grade. He's a really good player, but he's definitely injury prone. Then there's João Felix from Atletico Madrid for 52 million euros. And this signing is how I know that Chelsea have no transfer strategy at all. These guys were going after Omicron or whatever from Atletico Madrid and were prepared to sign him for over 30 million euros. Instead though, that didn't happen, and he went to Porto instead for like 12.5 million euros. And then João Felix signed for Chelsea in his place. But Felix and Omicron are two different types of strikers. They're completely different profiles. Chelsea are out here buying just for the sake of it. And just because of that, I'm going to give this João Felix signing a C- grade. Sorry. Then Chelsea also signed Kieran Dewsbury-Hall for 35.4 million euros. And he's a good player, but I haven't seen him do anything that crazy in the Prem with Leicester before. So I'm going to give this a B- grade. Then there's Philippe Horhensen from Villarreal for 24.5 million euros. I thought this man was going to be Chelsea's main keeper, but they're still starting Robert Sanchez. So this one's going to be a C+ grade for me. Then they signed Omari Kellyman from Aston Villa's under 21s for 22.5 million euros.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
This is a D- grade signing for me. Who the hell is this guy, man? Then they signed Aaron Anselmino from Boca Juniors for 16.5 million euros. I'll give this a C. Then they signed Renato Vega from Basel for 14 million euros. This is also a C. They signed Caleb Wiley from Atlanta United for 10.10 million euros. But they loaned him out to Strasbourg, so I'm giving this one a B. Then they signed Tosin Adarabioyo under free. I'm giving this an A. That's a proven Premier League center back, and they got him for free. Rare Chelsea W. And then they signed Mark Gui. And after that disastrous performance in the Conference League, I'm going to have to give this a B-. He's still got a ton of potential though, in all seriousness. But look at how many players Chelsea have signed, bruh, to an already super populated Chelsea squad. These guys got no plan, bro. No vision. They're literally signing everybody just for vibes.
There is no passion, there is no vision, there is no aggression.
But to be honest, I'm very interested to see how Chelsea performs this season. Regardless of how they do, you know it's going to be a fun watch. Now moving on to Tottenham, I think they've actually played this transfer window really smart. And with the top manager in Ange Postecoglou, who I rate highly, I can see a lot of these signings panning out wonderfully. They first signed the 18-year-old South Korean right winger, Min Hyuk Yang, from Gangwon FC for 4 million euros. And I ain't gonna lie, I don't know anything about this winger, but the last South Korean that Tottenham signed ended up turning into an all-time great. So because of that track record, I'm definitely gonna give this one a C+ for now. Then they signed the Swedish attacking midfielder Lucas Bergvall from Djurgården for around 10 million euros. And I've heard a lot of people rave about how good this guy is, so for me, I'm giving this one a B- grade. The most recently, Tottenham have also signed the 19-year-old left winger from Burnley, Wilson Odobert, for 29.3 million euros. And I ain't gonna lie, I don't really know too much about him either. I honestly don't even remember him from last season with Burnley, where he apparently bagged 4 goals and 3 assists in 33 games for a poor side. Now these aren't the stats of a 30 million euro winger, so why did Tottenham pay that much for him? Well, I take a little closer look at his stats, and peep this. He's in the 99th percentile for progressive carries, 99th percentile for successful take-ons, 98th percentile in touches in the opposing half, 93rd percentile for progressive passes, and 94th percentile for shots total versus other midfielders. Now if you do compare these stats against other forwards, they obviously will be lower, but basically what I'm trying to get at here is that Tottenham thinks that this guy is an uncovered diamond in the rough, and they're taking a gamble on it. And if this pays off, this will be a great deal for Tottenham. So I'm going to give this one a B grade for now. Then Tottenham also signed another 18-year-old in Archie Gray from Leeds United for 41.25 million euros. Now I personally haven't seen too much from Archie Gray, and even when I did see him play a little bit for Leeds, I wasn't too over the moon about him, especially for 40 million euros. That's a lot of money. So I'm willing to be proven wrong. But for now, I'm going to have to give this one around a C- grade. Sorry, I just don't really rate him as highly as others. But what I'm about to give an A grade to Tottenham for is their biggest signing they made this summer, and it's Dominic Solanke from Bournemouth for around 64.3 million euros. This is a great signing from Tottenham, especially when Richarlison gets really hot and cold in the Premier League.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
While Solanke, on the other hand, is a proven Premier League striker, with him bagging 21 goals last season for Bournemouth and all teams, with all due respect. That ain't a Big Six club that's generating multiple chances per game. And yet, Solanke was up there on the goal scoring charts. Plus, with him only being 26 years old, I think Tottenham have made a great signing here. I'm giving this one an A grade. Let's now move on to the other side of North London, where we got Arsenal. And actually, they've only added a couple of players this offseason, but Arsenal do already have a stacked squad, and they are decent signings nevertheless. They signed Deverell on a permanent deal from Brentford for 31.9 million euros, and judging by the way he played last season and the start of this season, that's a bargain. I'm giving this an A grade. Then they signed Flurry off the back of an impressive season with Bologna and Italy at the Euros for 45 million on a 5-year deal. Apart from the fact that he's ridiculously handsome and sexy, he's a versatile center back who can also play left back that can also push the ball forward when necessary. So for me, this is a top signing. I'm going to give this one an A-. Only reason why I won't say it's an A is because the Premier League is a different ballgame. So let's see if you can adapt to it. And then most recently, they actually signed Mikel Merino from Real Sociedad for around 32 million euros. This is a decent signing, but for me, Mikel Merino was not one of the star midfielders at Sociedad. He was like the third best. I think even Zubamendi is better than him, but Zubi Gubi decided to reject Liverpool, so fuck him. I ain't a fan of him no more. But with that being said, I'm gonna have to give Mikel Merino a B- grade. I don't really see where he's gonna fit in as a starter, and I never really rated him too highly before. So I feel like a B- grade is pretty valid for him. Now going over to Man City, they've had an okay transfer window. They kept Ederson, so that's a good thing. But on the signing front, they literally only signed Savinho from Troy, a club that the UAE ownership group also owns, for 25 million euros. Savinho did cook at Girona though. He was a huge part in them finishing top 4 in La Liga, and he's a tricky winger who likes to dribble past players, with him being the 90th percentile for successful take-ons and the 92nd percentile for progressive carries when compared to other attacking midfielders slash wingers. So it's a solid signing for City. I'd give this one a B+. They also just recently signed their old captain that played a huge part in City winning the treble in the 22-23 season. It's Ilkay Gundogan, who they signed on a free from Barcelona. Bruh, what is Barca doing? Letting Gundo go for free? That is nasty, nasty work. But Pep got one of his favorite midfielders back, and he's a top player regardless. So I gotta give this one an A grade. You already know. Moving on to Liverpool, we got...
I am having a very bad day.
Now for the rest of the Premier League clubs, here are some of the best transfers that I think that happened. We got Emil Smith-Rowe joining Fulham for 31.8 million euros. I want to give this one a B+, but if he does manage to stay healthy and get consistent minutes, I think it'll eventually turn into an A signing. And then for Aston Villa, we got Amadou Onana, who joined for 59.35 million euros. That's an A grade signing, just like Ian Monson joining for 44.5 million euros, and Jadon Philogene for 16 million euros. He's a top player who balled out in the championship for Hull City. Bournemouth then bought Dean Huijsen for 15.2 million euros, a center back from Juventus. That's an insane haul. I'm giving this one an A grade. Fabio Carvalho and Sepp van den Berg both joining Brentford are A-level signings. Both got a lot to prove, but their talent is enormous. Yankuba Minte and Mats Wafer joining Brighton for 35 million euros and 32 million euros respectively is an insane haul for the club. Both of those are A grade signings. While Jorginho Rutter joining for 46.7 million euros is a B+ signing in my opinion. I don't rate him as highly as other people. Let's see if he cooks though. Iliman Ndiaye joining Everton for 18 million euros is a B-level signing. He cooked at Sheffield though when he was there, so let's see if he can replicate that same form for Everton. And I think for what it's worth, Omari Hutchinson joining Ipswich on a permanent deal for 23.5 million euros is an A- signing. He balled out for them in the championship. And also Liam Delap, all at least B-level signings. Really good business from the recently promoted side. Fatawu joining Leicester on a permanent deal is an A- signing. He's a top talent. I think Max Coleman joining West Ham for 47.5 million euros is a B- signing. He's a good player, but I think almost 50 million for Coleman is overpaying a good amount. But Somerville and Fulkrug joining West Ham are both A-grade signings in my opinion. They're both great players who are taking a chance in the London club. Yo guys, it's me, post-filming and editing. While I was making this video, a lot of transfers happened that I didn't get to mention, so I'm mentioning them right now. First, we got Manuel Ugarte joining Manchester United for 50 million euros. It's a decent move, I'll give it like a B-. Then we got Kepa joining Bournemouth on a one-season loan. I'm actually gonna give this move an A-. I didn't expect Bournemouth to have this type of pull. Staying on the topic of Bournemouth, they also signed the Porto striker Evan Nilsson for 47 million euros. They're splashing a huge bag on this guy, so I'm gonna give this like a B grade. Moving on, let's talk about my club, finally, Liverpool, who are actually interested in signing Chiesa for around 15 million euros apparently. It hasn't happened yet by the time I'm filming this video, but it's looking likely. And if we actually sign someone, my jokes in this video got ruined for real. And staying on the topic of Liverpool, we actually signed Mamardashvili confirmed for 30 million euros, but this season he's gonna be on loan at Valencia. The first signing we made this window is for a player that isn't even gonna play for us this season. That's crazy. But if both Chiesa and Mamardashvili get signed, I'm giving both of those A's. I'm biased. Then let's move on to Crystal Palace, who signed Edin Nketiah for 25 million euros. That's a good signing. They definitely needed a new attacker after Olise left. So I'm gonna give this an A-. And staying on the topic of Crystal Palace, I forgot to mention this earlier, but Daichi Kamada signed for them on a free. I think this is one hell of a signing for Crystal Palace. I'm giving this one an A. Palace got crazy pull nowadays. That's wild. Now let's move on to Brighton, and they signed Ferdi Kadioglu, the Turkish fullback, for 30 million euros from Fenerbahce. And this guy had a crazy good Euro tournament with Turkey, and he's just a great player, bro. Amazing scouting by Brighton once again. These guys are cracked at finding gems in football. But anyways, with that being said, these are all the noticeable and relevant signings that have happened in the Premier League this summer. Now let's move on to the next section. Let's quickly go over to Barcelona so we can laugh at them. These guys at Barca, man, they let Gundo go on a free, and also let Vitor Roque, one of their future Brazilian signings, go to Real Betis for a loan deal. I have no idea whether it is loan to buy yet or not though. Also, they couldn't even sign João Felix and João Cancelo to permanent deals, and the only meaningful signing they made this summer is Dani Olmo, who by itself is an A-grade signing, don't get me wrong, but they can't even register him yet. That's how terrible Barca is being run, bro. These guys are broke, and for that, I'm gonna have to give this Olmo signing an overall C grade, just because they had to let Gundo go on a free, and they couldn't even sign their main target after in Nico Williams. These guys are just so poorly run, bro. You hate to see it. How far Barca have fallen. I'll forgive Barca for their sins though if they sign Neymar after his time at Al Hilal though. I need that more than anything. Speaking about potential returns though, it now seems that Romelu Lukaku will reconnect with Antonio Conte and Napoli, with him joining for around 30 million euros. I swear, bro, this guy Lukaku is getting rotated around the Serie A like he's a school dot. He needs to find a permanent home again and just cook, and I hope Napoli is the one. But with Napoli signing Lukaku, does that mean Osimhen is ready for a departure? Who knows? But Chelsea, stay away, man. Y'all have signed way too many people. You guys are in a timeout. Over to the French League though, I honestly don't think there's too much to talk about. I swear, Ligue 1 has lost more this summer transfer window than gained. However, there are 3 signings that have happened in Ligue 1 that I do want to highlight, and they all happened for PSG. First is João Neves, the young Portuguese defensive-minded midfielder from Benfica, who PSG signed for 59.92 million euros, basically almost 60 million. But this kid is elite, man, and so far for PSG in the first couple of games, he's looked really good. He's also in the 98th percentile for tackles, 90th percentile for interceptions, 78th percentile for aerials won, while at the same time being in the 90th percentile for assists against other midfielders, 98th percentile for successful take-ons, and 84th percentile for passes attempted. So as we can see, he's clearly talented on both the offensive and defensive side of the game. He's one to watch. He's an A-grade signing for me. Then the other 2 players I will keep an eye on would be Desire Doué from Stade Rennais for 50 million euros. The 19-year-old seems like a top French talent coming through, another A-rated signing in my opinion. And then there's William Pacho, the center back from Frankfurt for 40 million euros. I would say this is more like an A- signing. He's not the best signing, he's definitely up there, but not the best, and and he's definitely not the worst. Overall, PSG seem to be cooking this season, and if they win their first Champions League without Mbappe, that would be wild and funny. That definitely would be funny. And then for the Bundesliga, I think probably the biggest and only A-grade level signings that I think have happened in the league would be for Bayern Munich. And these two players are Michael Olise and João Palhinha, both joining Bayern for around 53 million euros and 51 million euros respectively. Olise was one of Crystal Palace's main men last season, with him managing to get a total of 10 goals and 6 assists in 19 games for the London club. That's pretty good, especially when some of those goals were absolutely world class. Additionally, Palhinha is a proven center defensive mid in the Prem, and you know what they say, if you can play in the Premier League, you can play anywhere. And with Bayern Munich chasing this man for like a year and finally getting him, it's a beautiful ending to this weird transfer chapter regarding Palhinha for Bayern. But Bayern are looking scary good with the signings they have made, so I'm interested to see what they can cook up in the Champions League this season. But anyways, in my opinion, these are the best transfers that have happened in this summer 2024 transfer window. And a couple of questions for you guys. Who is your favorite signing of this window? And which new signing do you guys think will cook the most in this 24-25 season? Let me know down in the comments. And now, if you enjoyed this video, please remember to subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. Also, follow my Twitter and my Instagram. The links are in my YouTube description. And last but not least, if you want to know how Spain abandoned their tiki-taka philosophy to dominate international football once again, just like they did back in the 2008 to 2012 period, you definitely want to check out this video right here. You won't regret it.